Welcome. I hope that hello, welcome. I hope that you can hear us okay. My name is Paul Preuser. I'm a quality assurance engineer here at Montreal, and I'm delighted to be the host of today's talk, where we're going to be talking about AI-powered load planning for business success. Our guest today is Bogumił Paszkiewicz from Goodloading. I'll introduce Bogumił in just a second. I'd first just like to give a quick shout out to Weronika Glazda. She's our event marketing specialist here at Montreal, whose tireless work behind the scenes makes today's event possible. So thank you so much, Weronika, for all of your work to do that. And so Bogumił Paszkiewicz from Goodloading, 15 years of experience in the logistics industry. He's also worked on developing gamification solutions that were aimed at schools and universities that had a logistics profile. And for the past 5 years at Goodloading, this is a company that's basically developing solutions to the so-called backpack problem, which for those of you who don't know what that is, and I didn't really either, it's a 3D simulator supporting the process of loading goods onto a selected loading space. But really, it's just about how much stuff you can fit into your backpack. And so with that, Bogumił, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, and maybe you can tell us just a little bit about Goodloading and what you do.
Okay. First of all, thank you for invitation. It's an honor to speak with Montreal experts. So. And I hope you will enjoy our discussion. I work with Goodloading from 2018, and before that Goodloading was a kind of two-dimension simulator when you could calculate the free space on the truck. So it was for logistics. And after I came, we decided to change a lot in Goodloading. First of all, it was just how does it look for a customer. So we changed almost everything, like user experience, like user interface, and so on. We've added some new features, and you need to know that it was for free for each logistician in the world. And in 2020, I think, it was 2 weeks before pandemic. We decided half year or maybe even 1 year before, but we wanted to monetize this software, and we had no idea about what our customers are, or maybe our users, because before monetization there was no customer, only the users. And after a few days, we provide a price list for it. We get an information back from the market that Goodloading is very, very popular in whole world, because from that way we've got a couple of thousand clients from more than 100 countries, and from that day we are trying to do our best to improve the Goodloading software for each of the market customers, because you need to know it's not only for logistics. The customer of Goodloading may be really, really different.
And looking back on the situation in retrospect, you picked a pretty great time to decide to monetize your website right before the pandemic, when e-commerce really took off right at that moment. So you really picked a good moment to make that decision.
Well, to be honest, we thought in different way, because after after 1 month, we published price list. There was something like, okay, everything is stopping. No one is going to move, even transportation, because everything was closed then. But of course, you're right, because e-commerce grows in really huge numbers from that day. After that, there is nothing. There is some nice sample or example for it. Right now, there are some stores. I have no idea if in United States, but for sure in Europe. In the morning, you are in a store with some shoes, of course, on the internet.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon, you can check on your own feet if that fits. So it's everything thanks to a pandemic. So thanks a lot, COVID.
Great. And I believe that we have a short video, right, of Goodloading and a little bit of what the app actually does. Would this be a good moment to show that to our guests?
I think we need to tell to all of our viewers what we are talking about, because it's not so easy to tell you about all of it. But when you see this 2 minutes movie, it should be enough to understand what are we talking about in this discussion. So
exactly. So why don't we start that now? If we could show the film on a little intro to Goodloading.
Sure.
Hello. Today, I would like to introduce to you the latest version of the Goodloading application, which is revolutionizing the way you manage the process of loading and unloading goods. Goodloading is a comprehensive tool that enables you to make optimal use of the space inside vehicles, containers, and on the pallet, resulting in greater efficiency, cost optimization, and time savings. The first and most important feature that the new version of Goodloading introduces is advanced algorithms for calculating the most favorable arrangement of cubic and oval-shaped goods. We can freely change the placement relative to the loading order automatically or manually, positioning them at any angle as well. The new version also allows working with multiple points along the route, indicating the loading and unloading location. An expanded stacking function has been added in the form of maximum weight of floors, percentage of load support, or indication of which loads can be stacked on top of others. For trucks, it is possible to place a cooling unit, double floor, or wheel arches inside a vehicle up to 3.5 tons. As with the previous version, multiple cargo spaces can be worked on simultaneously in a single project. Goodloading also allows you to use recommendations, indicating which other vehicle from your base will be used more efficiently. Loading information can be imported from a spreadsheet. A link with a stacking sequence animation or PDF can be used to share the project. While you can work with axle pressures in vehicles, the new version for containers allows you to get information about its center of gravity or fill in the size data in the door. This allows you to get a real knowledge of full loading capabilities. Pallet handling has also been expanded. Once palletized, they can be transferred to the vehicle and freely mixed with other cargo. In this way, we can provide the person responsible for loading with both information on how to use the pallet and the cargo space on which it will be placed. The program is available for the browser and does not require any installation. To test the new version, just register.
Yeah.
Great.
That's simple.
And you know what's so nice about this app, with a very usable graphic user interface, it looks like you're really targeting people who don't need to have a great deal of experience in terms of load planning, that there's a real intuitive aspect of the app that really anybody could effectively load a vehicle.
Sure. A guy who was responsible for how Goodloading looks right now is an expert with creating applications and also about 3D systems. It's a very nice combination for a designer. And to be honest, what you've just seen, all of you, it's a new version of Goodloading. It was just pronounced. It was just showed to the market 1 month ago. So right now we are working with some improving things. We get an information about what should be maybe corrected, or maybe not, but it must be corrected, or about the UX and about the interface. We thought that we need to do it as simple as we can, but still, when you change something, you may get some information that the first one was much easier because it's something new. But still, I think it's a great job done, and I think it's quite all right. You need to know that we tested it with people who are not into logistics, and we gave them some simple tasks, just load something on a truck, and they needed something like 2 minutes to do it. So it's the good answer for us.
Sometimes, when you think about who your user is going to be, it's great to think about what's the prototypical user that's not going to have really any idea of how to do it. In my case, I always call it the Chuck paradigm. Chuck is my stepfather, and his email address apparently doesn't have a password. I'm not sure how that's possible, but according to him, his email address doesn't have a password. I think he's just had his Gmail account open in his browser for the last 10 years, and he hasn't had to log out or log in. So now I have his password written down, and I keep it safe so that if I ever need it, then at least I've got a way to get into his account. But he's kind of the prototypical user. If you've got somebody who, has no idea about the logistics process, that's a great opportunity to see, what types of users that you really have. And that's a question that I have is, who is a prototypical Goodloading user? Who is a prototypical Goodloading customer?
All right. So I didn't know about this story with email address. We could prepare some test movie with it and show it to our viewers for right now, and check this out if it works or not. So there is no such like typical Goodloading user. Of course, there is a lot of users from logistics, like huge logistic companies, huge transport companies, huge. Everyone is huge, but not. Also huge factories or something like that. But we've got also small family businesses. We've got something like e-commerce businesses. There is a company which is a tattoo studio from Sri Lanka. There is a producer of Bollywood movies from India, from Bollywood, of course. There was a customer from Pittsburgh in the United States. It was Andy Warhol Museum. So the market may be very interesting for almost each company, let's say, because it's for companies, which are interested with reducing a costs of transport. So this is the answer. Yeah.
When you think about, supply chain performance and this idea of reducing transportation costs, implementing efficient load planning, what's some of the feedback that you get from your customers in terms of what they're looking for out of an app? And then how do you kind of address these issues?
Okay. First of all, I think you need to know that whole logistics world is a place when we can use a term from cycling. It's a marginal gains. So it's a small steps which is scalable. Let me say some story which is not connected with Goodloading, but it's about UPS. In 2004, they create a program that their truck drivers, cannot turn left. No matter what they do, they can't turn left because they need to wait for people going from the right, and they waste the fuel. So I just give this example on a second monitor. So in the year, there are some effects of that. They reduced their fuel consumption by almost 40 million liters. It was just per year. They reduced carbon dioxide emissions. It was something like 20,000 tons. And thanks to that, they managed to transport 350,000 more loads to their customers.
Wow.
And it was just thanks to that they can't turn left. When we are speaking about Goodloading, we can speak about small numbers as well. There are some kind of science tests on it, but it was something like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. When the scientists said that comparing to a manual calculation and using some software, you can reduce your fuel cost more than 1%. Well, you need to know that it was 20 years ago, and from that time, but software solutions have made very, very big steps toward to do it better and better. And from my knowledge, you can reduce your cost, not only fuel, but space from 1% to even 20%. So if let's say you are a transport company with 50 trucks, and each truck needs to go, let's say, 500 kilometers per every week. If we are speaking about using Goodloading when you are going to maximize your space for the goods, and it's gonna be like 10%. In whole year, you've got something like 100,000 euro of your reducing costs, and for a smaller one, it's couple of thousand of euro per year. But if we would like to compare it with UPS numbers, it would be millions, I think.
Massive, right? And, just coming back to the idea of never turning left, I don't know if you have any statistics on the psychological well-being of the drivers for not having to make, a double or making a left turn through 2 lanes of traffic in the middle of rush hour. I would imagine just the anger levels are so much lower by
Yeah, that's right.
doing
I
that
hope
as
so,
well,
but I
too.
have no idea about this kind of psychological part of it, but I think it helps. Yeah.
I imagine it would. I know it would help me. I'll have to
All right.
remember that never
All
turn
right.
left and
Okay.
see how it works.
Try not to do it today. Of course, I know you're a bicyclist just like me, so it might be hard to not to turn left sometimes, but still in the car, yeah.
I just ride through parks and city centers where cars can't go, and somehow that ends up being my time-saving routine.
I have no idea about the time. If you would be a UPS driver, it would help you with saving the time for sure.
It definitely would. So if we can kind of go back to maybe some beginnings of at what point you started implementing artificial intelligence into Goodloading solution. So you've basically got a program where you're collecting a lot of data, where you have your customers creating these use cases of their load plans. At what point did you think to yourself, let's maybe think about what artificial intelligence might be able to do to help us gain an advantage in this market?
Well, I didn't think about using AI at the beginning because the main goal was that there was one simple algorithm in Goodloading, and there was a lot of ideas from our customers because Goodloading is a small company, but it's a part of quite big company in Europe. It's Trans.eu. And when I started to work with Goodloading, we thought that we are a company that is focused on a customer. So it's I think it's a learning culture organization or something like that. And when we get a really big number of requests about new functionalities, new features, then we knew that our simple algorithm can't do it. And after it, I met some guy from university in Wrocław, and he told me, well, maybe you should cooperate with scientists, and we can create not one algorithm but dozens of algorithms. Part of them may be based on AI, and there is something like NCBR in Poland. It's a combination of grants for the business and connected it with science. So in 2001, 2001, we started the cooperation with scientists, and part of the work was creating a new algorithm based on AI.
And this is 2021, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so 2 years ago, basically, you started the work of.
That's right. And the first part was what we want. So we wanted better performance. So we wanted the this arrangement of goods on the vehicle, on the container, or on the pallet should be better. So we need to have a better calculations. The second part was we need it in a really short time because, as you said earlier, the backpack problem. It's all about the optimization, and there is no such a thing that you can say that we've got optimal arrangement of goods in backpack problem, because there is some cases that even AI needs hours to calculate something like that. So
and you need to be able to generate it very quickly for users in a way that it's optimized.
That's right. That's right. So we've got two goals, or maybe three. First of all, we need better performance according to space, loading space. We need to have it in a short time, less than 15 seconds. We need it for big numbers. So if you are adding, I don't know, let's say 5,000 different goods on a container, we need the solution for it. And after it, we need to check the algorithm and their results if it makes sense, because sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Does the solution, are the calculations, providing a benefit in the end?
That's right. So we had some user cases. It was 500,000 of user cases, and we started to feed the AI using learning machine, using big data, because it's 500,000 of user cases. We give them goal, so give me the results in 15 seconds, and we need a better performance that the users did in their projects.
And if I can just take a step back real quick, because you talk about these 500,000 user cases that you have, and this from an earlier conversation with you was really interesting for me. So if I understand how these user cases developed more or less, basically you had an original algorithm that a user could basically, based on the computer's algorithm, it would calculate the load planning for you so that you really don't have to do anything. However, in these use cases, what you observed is that users would actually go in and start rearranging the load planning on their own. And the solutions they came up with after some trial and error, let's say, were actually more effective than the solutions proposed by Goodloading. And this led you to identify that basically the user cases, or the machine learning part is tracking how the users were able to optimize load planning better than Goodloading algorithms. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I've got some pictures to show you. So maybe we can show the first one with from the old Goodloading. Okay, it's a. Can we switch to another picture? It's and once again another one. Yeah, this is it. All right. So this is a screen from old Goodloading, and user just added some goods on this kind of space. He or she or they added it one by one, and they tell to our app, let's stack it. So it may be put one on another, and this is the effect, putting one by one. And This is the case we've been testing with AI, and now we can show you. But stop for a while, because there is an information at the bottom of this project, something like square meters, and for this project there is more than 4 square meters used, and I can show you what our AI has did. So let's show another picture. Okay, it's only from the test, so it doesn't look so nice, but this is the same space, and there are the same goods with stacking options, and you can see that it needed 1 square meters. So it means that it saved something like 80% of your of the space. So this is as example of our tests using new algorithms. What can we do with it? And this is really nice example, because there is no gaps between them, because when we were feeding the algorithms, we get some bizarre situation that we get the better results. We've got it in less than 15 seconds, but there were some gaps between the loads, and it can't be like that. You've got some hole between the cargo, because it's not so safe, and in this particularly example, it fits very well. Okay, we can close this example.
Do you know the original example took up over 4 square meters? Do you know what the square meter results are here?
Can you repeat the question? Because
what's you've condensed this from over 4 square meters to how much in this example?
This is one square meter.
Okay, 1.9. I see it now.
Yeah.
So quite a significant difference.
Yes, it is. Of course, there might they may be as much user cases as a user will figure out how to do it on yourself, because good loading it's not just a calculation. You can do it manually. You can as you could see in this movie, you can drag and drop in some other place the load. You can change the angle, which we haven't in past version. So for now, we've just implemented one of the algorithm using AI, based on this 500,000 of user cases. We connected it with some mathematical engines as well, and this is the other kind of algorithm which has a goal as well, just like this AI. And there is just another one, very simple algorithm we are using. So what we wanted to show to the market, that we can use dozens of algorithms to make it all done. So it's not only the AI, but it helped us a lot. And maybe in next question you will add it to me. I don't know if we have a time for it, because Jesus, it's more than half hour. And
I should mention, when it comes to questions, I'm about 30 minutes late in mentioning this, but to our viewers, we'd love to take any questions that you might have during this talk today. So at any point, please feel free to drop a question to us in the comments, and then at the end of the talk, we're going to save some time to answer any questions that you might have. So we'd love to have you participate in this talk as well. And kind of going on here, Bogumił, with this idea of how you trained this data model. So you've got these 500,000 user cases. Can you talk a little bit about how you used these cases to train your data model and what you were hoping the result was going to be from that, or what result you were looking for from this
Well,
process?
just like I said, there were some goals to it. We needed it in short time with the best performance, and we rejected all the projects that was not satisfied us. So it could. Some of them was in really nice results, but these gaps between them we couldn't take into consideration. Well, and you need to know that we were comparing old user cases, and what we are doing right now with new functionalities, we are need to do the same in a near future with these new new goals, because right now new Goodloading is working not only with some simple objects like you said something like cubic shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you can add barrels on it. You can add pipes. You can move your cargo in a different angle and not only 90 degrees. So the algorithm need to take it into consideration. You can add several points of loading or unloading. So in logistics, it is called milk run. So you need to transport milk in some markets, so you need to take into consideration where you need to do it in best possible way, how to arrange it. We have added air containers as well. With it's not a simple shape of air containers because it has some bizarre shapes in it, so we needed to add it. So in next step, we are going to do something similar to the last feeding the algorithms, but I think we'll do it with real time. So let's say we will show the results for a customer,
Mm-hmm.
and when customer will find a better solution, we will remember that and we'll feed the algorithm. Okay, dear AI, you're not so smart as you said before. Here is the example, and yeah, that's gonna be the second part of it. So there are two possibilities of using AI. You can feed them just like ChatGPT.
Right.
They were feeding them with some historical cases, and now you can talk with ChatGPT. But what they are doing right now? They are testing with real time answers, and they make and give you really nice and smarter answers.
And how long has your AI solution to Goodloading been available to users on the market? When did you release let's say the AI version of Goodloading?
Well, it was 1 month ago, so it's really
1 month ago.
fresh information, and we do not have a big number of feedback from the market. We get a lot of cases when we couldn't test before, and we've got some bizarre behavior of it. So in past few weeks, we've just corrected,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope well, not hope, because we've got some calls with our customers and some emails sent by them that yeah, it is improved. And the new features are very, very nice to our customers. We can show the another movie with a customer who is producing a Christmas decorations. If we can display it, the second movie, it's really, really short one. We've got a customer from London, where and they, as I said, they are selling. I think we need to click on play on it. They need to transport something into a pallet. So they pack all the goods on a pallet. We didn't have before, and after it, when these customers know that all the goods may be on a pallet, okay, they could add another pallet, but a smaller one, and take into consideration, okay, we can transport it to another client, and after it, you can put all these pallets to a truck, and after it, you can add something more to this truck. So you've got all information about all the goods, or you've got a PDF file, how should be arranged, some different views of it, and how you can arrange it on the truck. So we use this AI, or not only AI, but all the algorithm, including AI, to present new features to the market. We had something before, something like recommendations. Let's say you've packed I don't know, let's say, I think we can show another image from the beginning. We showed it's just 2 screens here, something like that. Let's say we just need to transport these goods, and as you can see, you may be a shipper, and you can see that you've got almost or half of a truck with empty space, and in a top left corner you've got something like recommendations. When you click on it, let's say let's see another screen with it. It's from your recommendation. You can use another car from your database, from your fleet, and it's a smaller one but a little higher, and this car will reduce your fuel cost to transport it to our clients, and still you've got some free spaces on it. So when you are speaking about algorithms and a backpack problem and AI, yes, it helps you a lot with reducing a cost. In this particular example, it's something like I'm guessing that something like 15% reducing cost only on fuel. So it's a really, really nice number, according to these marginal gains I told you at the beginning.
I'm curious to ask too about how, because we've talked a lot about sort of cost saving optimization. What about safety? How does Goodloading address some of like the safety standards? And is there an AI solution that's also kind of working towards ensuring that the loading of trucks is also done in a safe way, or has warnings based on, let's say, load distribution or overweight distribution?
Yeah, it's a very, very important thing for all the transport market, because there are some cases, very, very simple one, where you can't overweight your truck or your container. So the simplest calculation is that when you add your cargo to the truck or container, do not overweight it. And you don't need a special software on it, because you can add it on just a calculator or a piece of paper and add one by one. But you can have it in a second when you are connected with Goodloading. You can use it using a web browser, or you can integrate with us, and you don't need to calculate it because you are using some SAP or ERP systems or transport management systems, so you can have it in a second. I think we got last two pictures to show it, so we can show it. The first one, the first arrow on the left, shows you that this is a situation when the truck is overweighted, and of course you can choose an algorithm when you can just click on do not overweight the trucks, and after it all the loads you are adding they are not fit to a truck will not be loaded to this truck. The second part of it is much more complicated, because it's axle load. So we don't need to. Please go back to this previous picture. It's about axle loads. You can't overweight the axles, and if you do it, and you will find a control on a road, you will pay a quite big fee for it. Of course, if you overweight the truck, you will pay a fee as well. So the application can show you that one of the axles is overweighted, and you should rearrange it to do it better. I think in near future we will show to our customer that our AI will do it without any control or without any user interruption to this arrangement. For now, we are just informing our users that one of them may be overweight. And the second thing, and a second picture, is about containers, because there is something. Well, I don't think you can see it, but something like center of gravity. You need to know that almost all. Well, I think that maybe 80% of containers just arrive by sea, and are going to a harbor, and there are some lift for all these containers, and no containers can be overweight on one side, because it will be very, very unsafety, and it may cause a very, very big disaster if you just put some heavier things on one side of container. So we've just added a center of gravity in the container, and you can optimize it, and you can see where the center of gravity is. You can put an information about the tolerance of center of gravity, so we can see that it's overweight, and you can change it on your own. So according to safety, it's about overweighting whole truck or whole container. You can check that overweighted axle loads or points of gravity, but sometimes the transport companies know that some goods should be transported in some specific way. So they put let's say some pipe, some long pipe in a in a point of truck or containers, and it's information for a person responsible for loading process. It should be placed in this particular point, because there are some belts to stop this pipe and avoiding to safety transport it, because it may be moving on a truck. So when you add this pipe on this kind of point, you can add, using our algorithms, another load and building a project around this pipe. So it's a second part of it. So you can just put a place to put this sometimes strange cargo in this position, and it helps a lot when we want to share this project with warehouse maybe, or the place when this cargo will be loaded on a truck or container.
I'm curious about one thing you said, and this will actually, I think, be my last question before we get to your questions from our audience today. But you mentioned that in a future iteration, at the moment, you just kind of mentioned if one axle is overloaded and the weight needs to be better redistributed, that's going to be in the next iteration. So if we think about your current AI model, I don't know if you have a name for it, but we could call it like Goodloading GPT-1. I don't know. It has a nice.
Okay, well, we are calling it Goodloading 3.0 because it's an old
already Goodloading 3. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I'm curious, if we talk about, you mentioned that in the next iteration, you'd like the redistribution to be done specifically by the model. I'm curious, what is Goodloading 4 going to look like? What is the next iteration of Goodloading AI going to consider?
Okay. So just like I said, we are just 1 month after the deployment of a new version. So right now we are learning a lot because we are in not almost everyday contact with our customers. So they tell us, okay, we like this one, and this behavior that is not so good as we wanted to have. So it was a normal situation for us because, as I told you before, we just fed the algorithms with old features. So with a new one, we've just showed to the market, and we need to get some more examples of using new features using AI, and we are going to take some other parts of improving AI. One of them may be the same as before, so we can feed the algorithms with new user cases, and another one do it in a real time. So when user have a better idea to do it, we can use it. I think the best example is a furniture market, because they transport a lot of goods every day to the clients, and the dimensions of the goods and the everyday transport the goods to the clients might be very, very difficult. And you need to know that in each company, like transport let's say like a furniture company, there are some very, very smart logistician, let's call it Jack, and he knows almost everything about distribution of the furniture in the truck. But if we need to send, let's say, 50 trucks per day, and this logistician will be, I don't know, on holidays, or there is too many orders for this furniture company, we can check how Jack is using Goodloading, and if he is going to improve the arrangement of the goods. If he is better than our AI, okay, we will listen to Jack and we try to do it as good as he. So we've got two ways to do it, and I think we'll do both of them. So using new user cases with new features we haven't before, and use an AI in real time to check if Jack is wiser than us.
So basically collecting new data and then also considering these non-standard shapes, like for example, furniture, as a way of improving the data models.
Yeah. And after it, because the furniture is a really nice example, maybe not after it, because we are working with really big companies that works with ERP systems, and they need really big numbers of transport and the goods. And for them, if we improve their everyday work by even less than 1%, for them it's really millions savings.
It's a huge savings.
And now our integrations method, we connect with this the biggest companies from the world, and we will work with them to show the calculations of Goodloading to improve the backpack problem for the all logistics
for everyone. Great. I think on that note, it's a great moment to hear if any of you have a question about the backpack problem. If there's any questions for Bogumił, now is a great moment to write them down in the comments, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Oh, great. Our first question, I don't know if there's a way to display this on the screen, but what kind of data analytics and reporting capabilities does Goodloading offer? And then how can these insights be used to further optimize supply chain operations?
Okay. Give me a second. I need to think about
I guess if we do this in two parts, we can think about data analytics and reporting capabilities. Does Goodloading offer? What types of reporting can the software do for a company?
Well, first of all, it was machine learning. So just like I said, there was a lot of cases to deploy dozens of algorithms. So we compare it with MIP. It's a linear programming. We compare it with AI, and it's a kind of heuristics algorithms. And we tried to prepare some simple models of heuristics. And after all of it, we compared all the results we had. So for now, we are going to work with mother of algorithm. It's like Game of Thrones, but our users will not see it. But if they will add any project to our systems, they can. They do not have it. They do not have to add it one by one. They can use an integration or some XLS file. first of all, we are using mother of algorithm to choose which result is the best. And after it, we are showing the results of calculation. One of them may be using this mathematical engine. One of them may be resulted in our AI system. One of them may be just use a simple algorithm to do it, because it is as good as AI, maybe but 2 seconds faster. So in the future, and in near future, we are going to check this out with this new functionalities, and we are going to do the same. So there are gonna be some matter of algorithm to choose which answer is the best for customer. For us, it's a very, very interesting journey, because as you know, the IT world can't stop. So we are going to improve it all the time. So it's a never-ending story when we are speaking about the movies.
That sounds great. I see that there are no further questions. If you do have a question at some point in the future, please feel free to reach out either to Bogumił Paszkiewicz at Goodloading or us here at Montreal. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have in the future.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, we're right at about an hour. So on behalf of all of us here at Montreal, I'd like to first thank you, the viewers, for joining us today. And also thank you to any of you who might be watching this at your convenience at some point in the future. And of course, Bogumił, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. It's been really a pleasure for me to talk to you. I really learned a lot, and I'm really grateful for you giving us your time to join us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul, for invitation. We had so many plans for this webinar, and 1 hour is it's not enough to talk about it. And the world of AI is really complex one. So if you will ask any questions on the movie which will be released, I think hours, maybe days, I will answer them with a pleasure. So once again, thanks a lot. It was an honor for me to cooperate with Montreal.
That sounds great. We're just scratching the surface on this. And, in our talk, we didn't even get into our shared love of bicycling or jazz music. So I guess that's going to have to be in part 2.
Sure. Jazz music and AI may be very interesting as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Bogumił. Thank you so much to all of you joining today. Once again, I'm Paul Preuser. And on behalf of Montreal, thank you very much, and hope to see you at our next Monte Talk.
Thank you. See you.